I'm here with the coolest host.
Man, you know, E2 Smooth, done.
And y'all know we got coming for y'all another special interview on this special Wednesday. Would you like to introduce our special guest for tonight?
Yes, well, actually, the guest, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do a little something different today on this show here, right? This guest here, she don't need no introduction. Y'all might know her. Everybody know her as Poka, the author, the philanthropy, the entrepreneur, young entrepreneur. So, Miss Poka, please grace us. Give us an introduction to the DLS family.
Hello, y'all. My name is Alexandra, but everybody knows me as Poka, which is short for Poka Hunnit.
Okay. And again, thank you for joining us here on the DLS, the Day Late Show. This is episode 7 of season 4
Yes, sir.
of the Day Late Show. You know what I mean? So look, with no further ado, man, let's just go and get right into it. Each week here on the show, we always do a quick debrief. We go by our highs and lows. So we're going to kick it off with you. Guest does the honor. Can you give us your highs for the week and your lows?
My highs for the week. My highs for the week is I've been life coaching my mama. That's been different for me. My low is that I'm doing a lot, but I don't see the results right now. It's just a seed being planted. So you got to keep motivating yourself. You got to work 10 times harder when you don't see a result because it feels like you're not doing enough.
So you hate to feel stagnant, most definitely. E, what about yourself? What are your highs and lows for the week?
The highs for the week, actually, I done got back back to basics, back to working a little harder. I done picked up extra shifts. I'm getting that mentality back, that drive again. I had lost it for a little minute, got complacent, got a little comfortable. But, and that's also a low for me this week, too, that I recognized it and I was able to change that mindset. And I'm getting back to the things that got me to this point now. So I can't complain too much. What about you?
Most definitely. For me, I just say my highs. Getting ready to start the rest of my senior semester. Very excited. I got a lot of things, outlined for me. Internship ended well, so I'm really excited for my new opportunities that's presenting themselves. I can say my lows for this week. I can kind of agree with everyone in the room right now. I feel like I've kind of been a little stagnant as well. It's time to really just go full speed. I feel like I do so much that sometimes I don't notice how much I'm doing. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you just got to go a little bit harder. Even though you're doing so much, you can add more to your plate because it goes to what you eat, So I think that's just my highs and lows for the week.
All right, man. So let's go and get right into the show, man. Let's get to it. So, Poka, real quick, man, just give us a brief background of who you are, where you're from, and how you became to be, and what was that journey like for you, and, just some trials and tribulations you had to go through.
Well, life real short. I'm trying to do like in a minute. My background, so I'm from North Dallas. I grew up, my father was in my life, but I was always with my mama. So with me being with her, it was a lot of ambition, a lot of go get it, a lot of you don't need nobody for nothing. So I changed that energy and put it in academics, which was a way for me to please my father. My father was very big on academics, and him not being in the household gave us something to talk about. And I realized that as I got older. Because of that, I seen the trials and tribulations I went through, taking care of my family through college and, being the first one to do many things. I just always wanted somebody else that had to go through things that I go through to have an easier way of doing it. So I left things behind, such as, my nonprofit, such as my book, my daily, my Poka Speaks Wednesdays. Those things were things that I wish I would have had growing up, because I was out there really by myself, and whoever I came in contact with, I held on to it. But that's basically how I got here.
Okay, for sure.
Well, you spoke on your book, so just give the people a brief insight of what that was and how was that journey like. Write your own book, because you don't hear people writing their books every day.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Especially you did it in school as well.
Oh yeah. So a lot of people do not know that I wrote in my book every day. So I went on a journey of no sex, and along with no sex, I started my book. And I wrote my book as if I was someone else looking back. So I look back on my day and I ask myself, what could I have told somebody if they lived the same day as I did? What could I, tell them to help them get through the day? And I did that for a year, and God had me starting by August. So when I finished in August of the next year, I was able to research how to do a book. I had the funding by the grace of God, find a self-publisher, and I just did all the groundwork myself. I did reach out to other Black people that were authors, but they only let me so much. And what really broke me down to do self-publishing, not do anything with Amazon, Lulu, I think, was the fact that God gave me a specific vision on how He wanted my cover, and only one publisher could deliver that, and it was United States. So I said, you know what, rock out with it. So that was the background of the book.
Okay. Do you see yourself doing more books in the future?
Yes, I'm working on one now.
Okay, for sure.
I am.
So to you, what does literary success look like?
Success, I think the one moment where I'm going to know that I made it, like I'm going to cry like a baby, is when I'm in the house that I drew out in 7th grade. I still have the blueprint. And when my kids are sleeping peacefully and my husband's at peace, I think I'm going to break down.
For sure. I can understand that because you're just going to be like, dang, this is the moment I've worked so hard for, and now I'm waking up and I see it unfold, and you know.
Yeah, I'm going to cry like a baby for sure. And don't let the G-Wagon be outside.
Okay, so another tear on top of that, go cry in the G-Wagon if anything. You know, right. What they say, cry in the Rolls Royce or what, you know.
Instead of Honda, you're right.
I felt that. So what to you, because I feel like, you know, everybody has a different moment in their life that makes them confirm their success, you know. When it comes to your books, what do you feel like you look for in your consumers that lets you know that you put out something that was worth reading?
Surprisingly, being little old me, my book is on Instagram every day. Somebody else posted. That means I helped you. Somebody would tell me, stop me and check. Like I went back to Commerce, we had the little party, and nobody really addressed me by my name. I don't think anybody really knows my name, but everybody talks about my book. I'm proud of you. You did this, you did that. I read so-and-so book, and I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm done with the project. Will be 1 million copies sold. I want 1 million copies sold. I already did 100.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Now it's 1,000. You know, but yeah, 1 million copies sold.
Like that.
Recently, I know you say that you had ran into Trey Songz right here in Dallas.
It was more than a run into, but yeah.
Okay. So just, you know, let the folks know, you know.
Yeah, you gotta tell a little
explain how that went about, you know. Like, talk to it.
And then being, you know, a young black woman, you know, run somebody like that, you know, like, what's up?
Okay, so let me explain. So I have this brother by the name of Jordan. Now, me and Jordan were goose. We don't really talk like that, though, because he's doing his own thing. He wound up calling me, and I was having conversations with this dude. And my brother was messing with me. He was like, bro, no dude lasts more than 6 months with you. He was like, if somebody lasts more than 6 months with you, I'll buy him a trophy. I get it customized. I'm a hard person to do. So the dude in the background hears all this, and he laughing. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, because I don't think you know how serious my brother was at that moment. Dude wound up messing up a week later, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I called my brother, you know, to me, I call it God talk. I'm like, bro, you're not going to believe what Shawty just did. So I'm telling my brother, and we go on. I'm like, well, how you doing? He said, I'm doing good. I'm doing security for this little hookah lounge. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, he said, but I'm doing security for 5 a.m. And I'm like, 5 a.m., like, that's like the one of the hot spots in Dallas.
It is.
So I'm like, okay. He's like, yo, sis, some ballers be in there. I'm like, man, ain't nobody trying to, you know, see them N-words. I'm just trying to stop cussing. He was like, nah, Trey Songz gonna be here tonight.
You said who?
I said the neighbors know my name. Okay, bet. So I called up this girl I was cool with at the time, and I'm like, bro, listen, we gotta go to 5 a.m. And our mind right now is, if it ain't business, we don't go. And that's how I am. If it ain't business or support, I don't go. Because I get paid to be in places now. Right. So I'm not really
free promo.
Interested in it. And then back in my high school days, I dated a DJ. So I was getting paid to be out. This little going out happened because of college. So she was like, I'm down to ride. We get there, and she leave her ID. And I'm like, it's okay. God's perfect timing. It's exactly what I say. It's okay, God's perfect timing. I go just like this. No makeup done. No eyelashes. No nothing. A $10 dress. Whatever. So, you know, we get there. She lose ID. She forget ID. We turn around. We go back. We get there. They prolonging us getting in. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, bro, I got church in the morning. Y'all tripping. So we wind up paying $100 a piece. To get
but it was worth it.
To get it. I wound up, you know, refunding her like $80. We go in, and I'm like, stay focused. I have to find this man. I find him. It's a section underneath a balcony. And so I asked one of the dudes that's sitting there, I was like, can I stand in your section and give Trey Songz my book? I'm focused on getting in, getting out. He's like, no. So I tell her, I'm like, bro, look, they won't let me stand in their section. She looked at me. She said, we paid $200.
We getting in the section.
I said, you right. You know, I turned back around. I said, if he make eye contact with me, it's golden. He looks down in the crowd. I step in a section. I stand on top of a section. And I reach over the balcony and I hand it to him. And he's looking around. He's like, who gave me this book? And I'm like, me, I gave it to you. And I'm dangling on the balcony in 5 a.m. And he's like, thank you, thank you. He opens it. He looks at it. I'm like, we good. If you never post it, we good. Because you looked at it.
You looked at it.
You looked at it. You was blessed. You opened my book. That was a prayer. So, yeah, that's how that happened. Crazy. Being crazy. I was in there for 30 minutes, though. In and out.
That's all it takes. Like I said, God's timing is perfect. Because if y'all wouldn't have been late, if y'all wouldn't have put in that extra work, then you wouldn't even been able to tell the story like you were today. So, and I feel like that brings more of appreciativeness to, you know, him even seeing the book, holding the book, having it. Like you said, like all that trial and tribulation turned out to be, you know, something that you can tell the story for another day.
And I called 3 people. I was like, I'm finna get Trey Songz my books. Everybody laughed at me. I'm like, bet.
Like, I hope you ain't talking to them no more.
Yeah, like laughed. They was like, Poka, tell me how that go for you. You gotta tell me how that is. You know, I got videos too. But it's a different because we get so caught up in social media for getting that hard work paid
off. Yep. Yeah. Forget about posting. I'm gonna do what it takes to get in the dough. You know.
I'm gonna be in this where I'm just not gonna be of it. So yeah, we're gonna take it back to old school. I'm at the clubs with it. What's up?
At your front door. Hello. For sure.
You got anything?
Okay, trying to see where we should go after this, you know, talk about so much success, her book. I guess we can dive more into, you want to get into her life coaching? Okay, so what made you realize you wanted to be a life coach? Like, what was that moment that had you like, you know what, this is my passion, this is my purpose, God put me here to do this, this is what I'm going to do?
I met a life coach in high school. I knew I wanted to be a life coach. At first, it was anybody who can pay me to tell them what to do, I want to do it. You got too much money. Then I started studying social work at Commerce.
Okay.
And I realized they didn't understand.
Is that what you have your degree in?
Yes, and I'm getting my MSW. I'm getting a master's in social work in December.
Most definitely.
I realized they didn't understand black people.
Mm-hmm.
See, they study African soldiers. You don't study the hood. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be a comparison to me. Mm-hmm. You want me to go stand in front and talk to somebody, but you don't understand. For example, people want us to use support animals, emotional support animals. Mm-hmm. Do you not realize that a lot of black people are scared of dogs?
Yep. PTSD and all that.
Do you not know why a lot of black people are scared of dogs? Because of slavery. Mm-hmm. That's trauma that's passed down. Mm-hmm. You don't understand my people, so I need to be in a position where I can help my people professionally and use what I do have in social work. It's not all bad. It's just that your theories and your practices doesn't align with my people. Mm-hmm. You don't realize we can see somebody get killed and still be okay. Mm-hmm. We cannot eat and still be good. But, you know, that's just from being in those shoes.
Mm-hmm. So. No, definitely. I can agree because I feel like a lot of people feel like you have to be in the army or going through something sacred just to receive PTSD or have PTSD. And most people from the hood, like I heard you said, you're from North Dallas. I am as well. And I feel like a lot of people out there have PTSD just from seeing stuff go down in their neighborhood, in their backyard, in their front street, on their porch.
I had PTSD from attending college.
Mm-hmm. Most did in Commerce.
We went to a college party. Y'all all was there, I believe. And it got shot up. A car drove by over a hump, and I tried to get underneath my car because I had PTSD. Well, when that shooting was happening, I was underneath my car looking for my friends, calling everybody. So, I mean, I was doing the right thing. I wasn't in the hood.
Mm-hmm. In college.
You ain't never said.
A PWI at that. Not no HBCU, baby. No, we keep that on loud. There ain't no HBCU, it's a PWI.
But we 20%?
Okay.
We 20%. Everybody was there.
It was like 15%.
Yeah, but everybody was at that party.
Oh yeah, all of it.
Okay, I thought so.
Nah, for sure.
You remember?
For sure. But just like, what is your mindset like when you doing these things and you life coaching, you have your own entrepreneurship that you're doing, and you just have a lot of things with your hands in it? Like, what is that mindset like for you? Like, how do you stay focused long enough to make sure that you're giving 120 to each and everything that you have your hands into?
I've got really close with God, even real spiritual. So like right now, practice that I do before I may look at the time, before I talk to anybody, I pray to God, I read my Bible. Because I can't help you if I'm not helped. And the crazy thing about me is there's not a lot of people that can pour into me. Yeah. I pour into a lot. So I gotta make sure that I'm filled up, and I'm learning that from a gentleman myself, but make sure that I'm right before I go out here.
Help somebody
myself. Intentionally too. So yeah.
Most definitely. I think that's something very important to enlighten in this episode, because there's a lot of black women especially who take on so much. We're always the ones who having to like you said, pour into everybody else, being their cup or their shoulder to cry on, but you don't have that same energy always to give back into you. So it's like having to be that strong person. Sometimes, how do you manage that? You know, like I know there's days when you just want to take a break, but you feel like you have to be strong because you can't take a break. You know what I mean?
Intentional time with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love me. Like
self-love.
Yeah, I cry in the shower. Like I have those days. It don't happen a lot.
Embrace it though.
Yeah, it don't happen a lot, but I realize that I'm human, and to me that's a blessing. I'm still able to feel.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point in my life where I couldn't feel.
No.
I could see anything and I wouldn't feel anything. So I take pride that I can feel stuff, especially being an Aquarius. We are not very emotional people. So when somebody can make me blush, I'm like, okay,
so
really?
Most definitely. Okay.
I'm normal.
So what can you say is your favorite part about coaching?
I made a post about this today. Black men.
Okay. Beautiful black men. I've seen that. Mm-hmm.
Black men find a safe place for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because a lot of them walk around thinking that nobody understands them. They think that what they're going to tell me, what they would tell me, if they was telling it to somebody else, that same woman would use that against them.
Mm-hmm.
So to see black men actually blossom and grow and tell me a crazy business idea and we get that to work, because I do life coaching, but that means every aspect of your life. That's not just how you feel today.
Mm-hmm.
That's your business. That's your mama relationship. That's your daddy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
To see them blossom in it and feel comfortable, like that means a lot to me, especially when they can put aside their sexual desires if they're there.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
That means a lot to me.
Okay. So, just for the young folks that's watching, if you can give any piece of advice about the journey, just about staying consistent, staying, focused on your goal, like what would that be to them? What piece of advice would Poka give to them?
Staying focused to their goal.
Like if it's just any piece of advice that you could give, like.
Any piece. The only thing that you're promised is death. We chase money so much, we actually know how much a dollar worth, you probably wouldn't even want to touch it. Because the U.S. is not really worth much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, if you going to live your life and death is your end result, truly be happy. Do the stuff that you're embarrassed to do because it's not cool, but it makes you happy. Chase that dream. Chase that dance. Young black boys, do gymnastics. Young black girls, start rapping. That's what you want to do. Because death is your end result.
There's only two things promised.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna pay taxes, so you might as well make your money happy, and you might as well die happy.
Because you can't die with none of these materialistic things.
Take it with you. They say you all ain't gonna follow you to the grave.
No, for real.
Nah, that's real. Just one more question. If you can go back and you can talk to the younger Poka, the younger Alexander, what would you tell them?
I would tell myself everything that every OG told me, and that was leave them boys alone. For sure. Every OG, every dope boy, that's what they engraved in me. Leave them boys alone, stay in them books. Mm-hmm. Did I leave them boys alone for the most part? Yes. Did I stay in them books? I'm gonna get a master's at 21. Yes, I ain't got no kids. Clearly I left the boys alone. But when you're chosen, it's different. Mm-hmm. So I would have engraved it in myself. I feel like if I would have never got tied up with any young man, think about 3 months you spending with this one, 6 months you spending with that one. If I would have never got tied up with any young man, I feel like I would have had the house.
And do you reference that back to being just like in college or college years?
High school. Any conversation that wasn't meant nothing. I started dating when I was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. That young man still calls my phone. My 6th grade boyfriend, my 7th grade boyfriend, my 8th grade boyfriend, they still call my phone. And I was the realest female they ever met. That's how I know I was different. But I would have been in the house, the car, all the successful things. I would have been there, but I wouldn't have my story. Mm-hmm. So I don't regret it.
Everything happened for a reason.
Definitely would have said, stay in those books, stay away from whatever sex that you're attracted to. It's a distraction. They're not adding, they're subtracting, for sure.
I can most definitely agree, especially being at the age that you are now. It's like we're grown. You don't have time to play. You date when you're ready. When you're financially, mentally stable, especially because I feel like that's how a lot of people fall back. Like you said, I don't feel like it's a terrible thing because everything is a lesson. You know what I mean? But I feel like most definitely you can add that and take to it.
I think we should get back to old school dating. Mm-hmm. I date now.
I agree.
I'm gonna go eat ice cream and do whatever with whoever. You text me and let me know which one is meeting the expectation that you see when you see me.
To the punch. I most definitely agree.
But courting is what I'm into now. Mm-hmm. I want to see if you can be around me for a year and not touch me. Mm-hmm. I like that. Mm-hmm. I want you to know if you spiritually align with me. I don't want to be unequally yoked with you. Mm-hmm. So dating is fine, but the question is, can you court me? Do you meet my expectations? Because I want to see who I'm going to allow to marry me. That means you have to guide me. That means you have to be bigger than me in my Christ relationship. My question is, are you?
Mm-hmm. And if you can't beat that relationship, then I don't know what to tell you. That's important one. Y'all listen, ladies, okay? Especially our young ladies out here. Love yourself, okay? Don't let no man come between that, God, none of that. Because you got to love yourself first and let a man above before you can love anybody.
And regardless of your relationships, your connections with anybody, you still face every battle alone. Whether you like it or not, because it's mental things that you can't escape and can't nobody help you escape.
Yep. And I think a lot of people do become codependent on that. I've been seeing that a lot on Instagram and stuff. Codependency, you know, a lot of people feel like, especially females, I guess, in relationships, you know, we talk about this all the time, feeling like they can't live without a man, or when you do something, it's like, oh, what he doing? I feel like we have to get to that point, especially ladies. I've been telling my homegirls a lot lately, I don't want to get to the point where we 35, 25, still worried about if a man can make you happy. You need to be in your books, in your money, and worry about if you can make yourself happy. A man is just an accessory.
So I had a deal with one man. He taught me so much. This was the first man I ever came across that I didn't care if we didn't talk for 2-3 days. Because he was so invested in what he had going on that I knew that his attention was always on his success. It didn't matter. If you don't feel that way, you're dealing with the wrong person. It can be multiple people that you meet that's going to make you feel that way. But if that person don't make you feel that way, that's not your person.
Especially when it comes to your business, because I know a lot of people who will let something like that come between what they want to do. Like a man to come and stall a woman from her dreams because she done got pregnant, or, you know, and I feel like a man needs to be there before you mentally, financially make sure your goals is aligned just as much as his are. Not just, oh, me, but you, you know what I mean? Supposed to be in this together, like she said, equally yoked. I can grow by myself all that every day, but it would be nice to grow together, you know what I mean?
If you gotta watch him, you don't need
not the one. Her too.
Yeah, you gotta watch her, bro.
Either or.
If you can't leave your girl in front of in the room with your richest partners, she ain't yours, bro.
It not for real. I ain't gonna say that. The same way with the homegirls too, though. You leave in the room with your nigga and you think y'all.
If you can't leave your dude in the room with the baddest females, bro, that ain't your dude.
Now
say we ain't preach. You heard that quiet today.
Y'all talking. I can't even lie. Ladies, if you listening. Ladies, if you listening, hey, they spitting some gems in the regards to here tonight. Hey, man, take heed to everything that they saying. Because it ain't nothing but facts, and it's coming from 2 women, black entrepreneurs themselves. So you can't miss that. So where can we find you? Let the folks know.
Okay, so I have my own website at pokaspeaks.com. That's POKA speaks.com. You can book me for everything there. I do a lot. I always send in a booking form when you don't know about offer the service, because I probably do. And then all my social media is Poka Hunnit. So POKAHUNNIT.
Okay, well, you guys heard it here first on the DLS. Anything else you want to add to them?
Man, you already know. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Never Not Real on the YouTube page. Shout out to all the sponsors. Poka Hunnit, Royalty Clothing, C Justice Production, Never Not Real, Event Photography, Wavy Customs, Day by Day Productions. The list goes on and on. Thank y'all again for all that y'all do for us. And again, man, we wouldn't be nothing without y'all. Y'all have been locked in and loaded to another episode of the DLS. This is episode 7 of season 4. You know what we say? Hey, you locked in and loaded to the hottest podcast on the airways for Toya Flies DJs. I go by E2 Smooth.
And it's your girl, Ugly Penny.
Hey, man, we'll see y'all when we see y'all. Peace.
Even though you hate me, I know you'll let me fuck again. Them soul ties got you stuck again. And I ain't never been in love, but I swear to God I wanna love again. Serious issue, do you need some tissue? You hate talking to the only nigga that could fix you. You say I got some growing up to do. I just wanna fall with you. Feeling like I'm star with you. Won't toot your horn to blow your flute. The rainy nights could turn into some sunny days. Random sex could temporarily take this pain away.